What's happening, everybody? Biker Dave here from Horsepower House. And a common issue on some of the Ford Fiesta and Ford Focus and other Ford models, especially the 4-cylinder models. Let's say you fill up your fuel tank, and then when you leave the gas station, the engine just seems to be stumbling a little bit, or it seems like it wants to die at idle, and it only happens for a short while after you fill up the tank. The common fix is to replace the canister purge valve, which looks like this right here. Very funky set right here. You can get this at most auto parts stores, but I'll put a link down below where you can get it. And not that difficult to replace, quite honestly. And we'll just go through it real quick. First thing you need to do is remove the lid, and you just basically force it off. It's held by little rubber grommets, and you just forcefully pull this off here. I've already done that, but you see it just fastens to these little posts. There's 4 little posts right there that are attached to these little rubber grommets right here. So you just pop it off basically and set it off to the side. And then you can immediately see where this is located. This set going all through here, then attaches. See where it attaches back in the back there underneath the fluid reservoir. It attaches right back there. So at least you don't have to, tear anything else apart. Something you might want to do if you have a stock air intake, you may want to remove that, which this is obviously not on this car, but you don't really have to. But just to be on the safe side, you may want to disconnect some of your airflow sensors. Also, this setup right here, this is already disconnected from the stock setup because we have an aftermarket air intake, but just pull that hose off and then you can get your hands in there a little bit better. There you go, you can see it right back there is what we need to get to. So your needs might be different depending on your air intake setup, but that's the basics of it. And then the other end of it, right down in here, goes at a little angle in the side right there. So the good thing is we can see everything. No funky other bits need to be removed, and the only somewhat tricky part is removing you have to disconnect these clips that hold each end in place, and that's not too bad either. Sometimes you can do it just with your bare hands. This is usually pushed in place. So once it's in place on the car, this clip will push up in place and lock itself down. But to disconnect it, you have to push the curved in. See how it spreads it? That'll spread out to release where it's attached on the engine. And then, it may be a little difficult depending on how old your car is, but just get your hand underneath it and push firmly and it'll release, and then you can just pull it off. And it's the same on the other end. As you see, if you push the curved in right there, it spreads it open and then just pop it off. And also you have the sensor itself needs to be disconnected right there. And okay, you see this is of course with it off the car, but it gives you a better view. So you need to disconnect the wiring harness, which is right under there. So that's where removing your air intake might be helpful, because it's just difficult to get your hands in there. So like I said, your mileage may vary. So for me, I need to remove this 8mm Just remove this guy here, and then I'll be able to pull this up and get it out of the way so I can access the connector right back there. And just to be on the safe side, you may want to disconnect this airflow sensor, and it's just a matter of pushing on the clip and doing a little wiggling, and it'll come off. All right, and I also am going to loosen this clamp right here. That way the whole assembly can just separate from the lower portion. Then we can, get a little more room to get our hands in there. All right, and then just disconnect the actual solenoid or valve, this guy right here. You just squeeze on it with your fingers and just carefully wiggle it off. Be careful with these, especially if your car is 10 years old or older. A lot of these clips get brittle and they will break if you're not careful. And then we remove the assembly itself. Everything is disconnected now. It's pretty straightforward from here on. You can also remove or disconnect this sensor here just to give you a little bit more reach in there. Same deal, just squeeze on the clamp and just carefully wiggle it off. Okay, what I find is there's that white tab right back in there, right behind this sensor, is what you need to push down on the top of it. So a long screwdriver, like a long flathead screwdriver, should give you plenty of reach just to push it down, and then you can wiggle the fitting off. So not too big a deal. So I'm not at my shop right now. I'm just helping out a friend here, so I don't have a tripod or a mount for this thing. But let's see if we can give you a view. If you can see, watch the screwdriver right here. Come in from the side, and then it'll push down. I know it's hard to see way in there, but see where the tip of the screwdriver is, right where the light is shining? That's where the little tab is that you need to push on to release the fitting. Sorry I can't show you a little better, but you'll see what I mean once you're doing it. Now, yeah, it's a very tight space in there. So let's see if we can get a view. See, now the clip has been released. You might need to use two screwdrivers. One to push down the top, see where the existing screwdriver is pushing on the top, and then you have to pry it down with the bottom, then it should wiggle off. But yeah, it's a tight spot, so if you have normal adult hands, it's a little tricky to get in there. And once you've released the bottom one, the rest of it is just releasing these clips. Just release them, it's very, very simple, from here. And it's a molded, firm assembly, so it's not like flexible rubber. So you have to sort of release all of it before you get it out of there. Otherwise, you'll probably snap it, which, you're replacing it anyway, so who cares? But just letting you know, you should probably release everything before you try to remove it. Okay, and then with the rear one, make sure you really push firmly. See, it's already been disconnected there, but make sure you push firmly on that white clip on the like the firewall side. Push firmly on it, and you'll hear it click when it's released. Then you can pull it off. So just make sure you wait for the sound of the click while you're releasing that back clip. Okay, and the last thing is just remove the solenoid. It has a little rubber sleeve holding it in place right there. See that gray rubber sleeve? Just pull it off, and then everything should come out of there. Pretty straightforward. And the new one already comes with the little mounting arm and the new rubber sleeve and all that. So if you break something, see, it's got the clips already installed as well. It basically comes as a full assembly if you get this, from your local auto parts store. So, if you break something, removing the other one as far as this hardware, don't panic. The new one should come with everything you need to put the new one in place. All right, and once you've gotten it off of that little rubber sleeve there, everything, and you'll just have to kind of, reverse feed it. Be careful that you don't break anything else, but there it is. It just pretty darn simple. It's taking longer to film the video than it actually is to do the job. and then we'll reverse what we did and put the new one in. And while you're in here, you may want to take a wrench real quick and just check miscellaneous fasteners. Make sure nothing is obviously loose or missing. Check your connections on your coils. May want to check your oil while you're in here. Make sure no sensors are wonky or disconnected. Do anything you can while you're already in here to make sure that nothing is looking awry. Check your belts. You got your belt right there. Make sure it looks good. I'm the type of guy I like to check other stuff while I'm in a certain area of the car. So that's just my advice to you. All right, once you've gotten the new one fished in there, it's pretty straightforward. Before you clip everything in place, go ahead and reconnect. See it right up there. Reconnect it in there, and then push that bottom portion towards the firewall, to make sure it clicks in place. Do it, as you've pushed it down on the fitting. And then the same thing on this side. You can see it's the little white thing way up right there. Go ahead and push it on the fitting, and then push that clip forward into place. And you'll hear everything click into place, and then just test it to make sure that the hose can't accidentally pop off. And if you've installed it correctly, it should not. And just so you know, all right, see beneath, let's get in place. Right there, see the little nub, that little bump right there on the fitting? That's how far down it needs to go. And then when you push it in place, it should click and it'll wrap underneath that so that there's no way for the hose to come off. Okay, same thing on the other side. With this one back here, I found it's easiest to use both hands. Reach one hand with your left over the top of it, then the right hand around the bottom, because the remainder of the hose that goes down below the car to the fuel tank is not it's not secured by anything. So it could kind of be difficult to click it in place. So if you use both hands, it's much easier to squeeze it together, and then you'll notice see how it's clicked in place, and it should hold firmly. All right, and then just keep working your way forward. Trying to do this one hand here. I got a flashlight. Okay, see that guy there? A little bit of saliva on that rubber piece helps it slide over that bracket easier. That's just a pro tip for you. Just spit on it, with your finger, and it'll slide right over that. And then reconnect. Reconnect the solenoid with that wiring harness right there. It just pushes in place. This guy right here. Just push it down, and it clicks. You'll know it's in place when it clicks. Then just keep working your way around. It has the existing little hooks, these guys here, but the new hose comes with them if you need them. But as long as you didn't break the old ones, these are in place, and just has these two nubs on either side of it. And just be kind of careful. Don't break any of these if you don't have spares. Now we'll fasten the other end down here, and we're almost finished. All right. If you can see, I know it's hard to see, but there, see that little, if we can get a little focus action here. See the fitting that goes into the side right there? That's what the new one needs to click onto. I know it's hard to see, I can't focus it because I'm working with 0 available hands. But right back there where the light beam is going is where the new one will click on, and do it the same method as the other one. So I found it's easiest if you use your left hand to push it on. There it is in place right down there below this sensor. I found if you come around this way with your left hand, just push it on, and then you can fit your right hand in and click it in place. And then reconnect this guy. Don't forget to reconnect other harnesses and things. This guy here. Could have done that before I clicked it, so I'm going to disconnect it and put this back on. You know, be careful. Be careful with these because you don't want to break the harness or the sensor that it's going to. So, you know, just be careful. Now double check everything. Everything is good through here. Good through there. Good back there. And then we'll put everything back together and start the car and make sure she's good. Okay, and we're in the home stretch now. You know, just double check everything. Make sure everything was connected that you disconnected. Any sensors, any clips, your air box, or if you're going to aftermarket intake like this one, you know, make sure that the boot is secure. Make sure everything looks good before you button it all back up. You want to check your air filter while you're in here as well. Check your coolant, windshield washer fluid, oil level. You know, I'm the might as well kind of guy. Check stuff while you're in here. That way you always keep a habit of checking things over and you know that nothing's been missed. And then we'll put the cover back on. You just line up these little boots. Line them up and the holes will match, you know, as far as the filler cap and the dipstick. Push it down. Bada bing, bada boom, easy as you please. And, you know, start the car and make sure everything's running good. But, yeah, this hose assembly is sometimes troublesome, you know, as far as causing problems after you fill up your fuel tank and then it's kind of running a little funny for a few miles. It's basically that solenoid right there, or valve, whatever, you know, is just worn out and causing an issue. So hopefully that's all the problem was. And so check out other videos. We got more stuff about this car and other cars on our channel. Dirt bikes, ATVs, motocross bikes. This is a 2014 Ford Focus ST. Pretty cool car. Anyway, that's it. Check out our channel and look for our social media links in the description. You'll have a great day. We'll see you.